Hello sports fans, and welcome back to another edition of the Pioneers Weekly Football Preview. We're going to start things off this week with the high school ranks, and starting things off with Big Rapids coming off a disappointing home loss in their opener at Top Taggart Field against Hesperia in a 39-0 loss. Pretty tough loss for Big Rapids, who has some guys injured right now. The question is, Bob, what about the future of this Big Rapids team, and is this something that can be fixed in the next couple of weeks with a couple of games against Central Montcalm and then White Cloud?
Absolutely, it can be fixed, and it starts Friday night. And I'm sure Mitch Cummings, coach, is going to stress the same things as he usually does. Do your job. Don't do another person's job. Do your 1/11th. They really pride themselves on that. And if they do those things, they're going to be able to sustain drives, able to stop teams defensively. And if they do that, they're going to gain some success. I don't think they're going to win this week, but I think it starts Friday, and taking those steps towards, getting a victory.
Yeah, let's get a look at our picks from our guys this week. We'll start with Brandon. Who do you got winning this one?
I've got Central Montcalm.
I'm going with Central Montcalm, but it wouldn't surprise me if Big Rapids won, but I'll go with Central Montcalm.
Yeah, this is a winnable game for Big Rapids, but some of the things that I saw last week against Hesperia included some turnovers, 4 of those, and then penalties, going for over 100 yards in penalties also last week. A big thing that they're going to have to get under control to right the ship here. I've got Central Montcalm winning a close one at home.
This is one of those games I think that's really going to determine which way Big Rapids season goes. This is one of those games where you're going to have to figure out if you're going to come out and come over the adversity you've had the last few weeks, or if you're going to maybe struggle the rest of the season. So I think I'm picking Big Rapids slim in this one, but I do think this is a big game early for them in this season.
Okay. All right, moving on to our only area home game this week, consisting of Reed City, will be hosting Holton. Holton, an 0-2 team, but have had some success offensively early on here. Reed City, of course, a couple of wins to start the year. Greg, what is the challenge that Holton poses this week, and what does Reed City have to do to start off 3-0 to start the year?
I'd like to say that this game is going to be a challenge for Erie City, but I don't see it being that way. I really think that they're going to keep going as they have been, business as usual. I think Holton is a team that can score some points and can put some points on the board there. So I think the biggest thing we're looking at for Reed City is maybe if they start looking forward to the week after, where they got a big matchup against Newaygo. But I don't see that happening at all under Monty Price, and I think those kids are going to be focused for this weekend. They're going to take care of business like usual. Last week, piled up more than 400 yards rushing, held Morley to just about 100 yards defensively. Big win for them last week, 46-7. So I think they're going to keep that train rolling and show why they're the top of the CSAA.
All right, guys, who do you guys got in this one? Are we all of agreement that Reed City moves 3-0 here?
I think Reed City just moves on. Their offense is much too potent for Holton to handle.
Well,
I hate to agree with Brandon, but I'm going to do so.
Yeah, I've got Reed City winning big in this one also. I think Reed City can kind of just almost play to the level of its opponent, and I think at home, very comfortable atmosphere for Reed City. I think they win big. We're going to be moving on to the college ranks now, and Ferris State coming off a tough loss against a loaded North Dakota State team in its opener last week. The 2-time defending FCS national champions. That's a pretty tough way to start the season. Now we look forward to the Bulldogs' home opener this week against a Lake Erie team. They've beaten all 3 times in their team's history. We'll start with Brandon. Do you see Ferris getting their first win of the season against a competition a little bit more on their level?
I see Ferris actually coming out and playing really well. They took lessons from last week, and they're ready for a win. And under Coach Neese, I think they're going to be happy to be at home and be ready to win.
Bob?
I think one of the things that was lost in the loss to North Dakota State was Ferris racked up 200 yards rushing, which is pretty impressive considering that North Dakota State held Kansas State to 43 or something like that. So I think now that they're down to what they say, more competition, level, I think they're going to run all over them. This is going to be a big win for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I agree. I would actually expect this game to be a lot like North Dakota State game last week, except Ferris is North Dakota State this week against Lake Erie. I would expect a similar margin of victory in this one.
I'm going to have to go with Ferris State as well in this one. I think they're going to really bounce back from the loss last week. And like you guys said, they're still able to pile up some yards rushing there against a North Dakota State team that is obviously very, very good. So I think they're going to come back down on the GLIAC play there and really show why they're one of the teams that's going to be able to come out there and battle for the championship there at the end.
Okay. All right, moving on to the NFL now. And 3 out of 4 of us got our NFL picks correct last week with Detroit. Obviously, we saw it in them all along. This week, they look to go to 2-0. Let's start with Brandon. Tell us why you think the Lions are going to lose this week, or have you changed your tune?
I'm changing my tune, but it was heartbreak and hope all in one first half for the Lions last week against Minnesota. But it's the same old Lions. They're still trying to find ways to lose the game, whether it's offensive coordinator or defensive knuckleheaded plays. It's going to come down to that defense. Their offense can obviously move the ball with Reggie Bush and Calvin Johnson. Burleson was all right. The tight ends played well to open up the running game. But I see Detroit doing well this week and actually pulling out a win.
Yeah, Bob, what about you and the effect that Reggie Bush has on this offense now with 2 legitimate weapons like him and Calvin Johnson? Does that make them a more balanced team, and you see that, a little bit more optimism for this year for the Lions?
Oh, absolutely. If you can run the ball, you can do good things. The teams that are successful in the NFL are teams that can run the ball. Everyone, you look at New England, Brady and they're pass happy. They're actually one of the top rushing teams in the NFL. And, the Lions, to get to that level, they needed someone like Reggie Bush. The big key for the Lions is when they get into the red zone, they're settling for field goals, and they gotta turn those field goals into touchdowns. And Reggie Bush is going to help in that matter. Calvin Johnson, obviously. I see the Lions winning this one, I think, fairly easy.
Okay. Yeah, I've got the Lions winning as well. I think that they've shown enough of a mix of some potency on offense, and then defensively actually made quite a few plays in that game. Gave up a few big plays, but I really like how active this defense is compared to last year's. I've got Detroit winning by a decent margin as well this week.
I'm going to have to go with the Lions as well in this one. I think last week, minus all the idiotic penalties they had, you saw what kind of a difference the new defensive line can have in a game there when they're wreaking havoc on the quarterback and getting some ill-advised throws, albeit it was against Christian Ponder, who is one of the worst quarterbacks probably in the league. But I do think that they're going to come out there and they're going to pressure with the offensive line the Cardinals have. They're going to get after Carson Palmer there, and he won't have those throws he was making Fitzgerald there last week. So I think Lions will come away, probably win by a touchdown.
All right, for our final segment this week, we're going to take a look at the top performers on the gridiron. Starting with Brandon. Brandon, who does your game ball go to for this week?
My game ball this week goes to Reed City's Andre Jones. 6 rushes for 152 yards and 2 scores. Great game.
Bob, who you got for this week's game ball?
My game ball goes to Everett quarterback Jacob Fortune, 15 for 20, 3 touchdowns. He also rushed for a score and helped the Wildcats improve to 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going to stay with Everett this week, actually. On the defensive side of the ball, Larry Van Buren standing out for the Wildcats in their win, 27-12 win. He had 13 tackles in the win, hoping to help Everett improve to 3-0 this weekend.
I'm going to have to go back to the quarterbacks there, looking at Pine River's Skylar Nelson in a 39-6 win over Benton Central. He went 6-9 passing for 168 yards, but he's pretty efficient and got 3 lone touchdowns out of that game. So good day for him, and got the Bucks their first win.
All right, thanks guys, and thanks again for tuning in this week. As always, you can check out the weekend edition of the Pioneer for our high school sports results, or visit BigRapidsNews.com.